Most couples don't talk about money. Do I think we should or shouldn't? 100% unequivocally, the answer is yes, you should talk about money. And you're only hiding it from yourself. If you're working together as a unit, it's important that you're open and transparent with your spending because obviously that's going to impact yourself and your family. What do you think?
I think you've got to see your investment strategy and future as a team effort. So if you're trying to keep your own finances separate from your partners, you're really hindering the opportunity to be able to grow as a team. So I think it's important to share what's going on. Yes, you can have your individual accounts, and that's important for independence. But to be able to share your goals, where your money's going, how much you're saving, and are you working towards those goals as a team?
Yeah, because it is so important because a lot of people obviously hide what each other spends, and I've seen clients that have credit cards that don't divulge it to their other partner as well. That's only going to hold you back, as my wife said, to your overall goal and your overall plan. And I think there is not one person that's 100% perfect when it comes to spending or is not guilty of overspending at certain times. I mean, Christmas just was past those certain times, and I think we're guilty of it, and I think everyone's guilty of it at times as well.
You have to be realistic. So we have our budget that we do once a month. And so for Christmas, for example, December was a blowout month. And I put that into the calculator and said, expect this to be way out of budget because we've got Christmas, we've got a lot of birthdays, all of that, Christmas holidays, we want to be spending more money. So if you're realistic and you plan for these things in advance, it's not going to come as a shock on your credit card statement at the end. So manage your year. Look at which months are quieter, save more in those months. Be prepared for when you're going to be spending more money. And then it's more acceptable as a team instead of one person getting upset with the other that, well, no, we haven't been managing our finances.
And just to be clear, it wasn't a shock. It was a shock to me actually seeing Christmas. My wife is very creative. So in the subject line of the email when she sent our budget or our investment plan, she put, honey, bear in mind it was Christmas, which I thought was hilarious. But it's very, very important to note you are going to have your blowout months. And people don't like the dirty word budgeting. So we've replaced that word because words are very important what you say and do with investment plan. So once a month when we go out to lunch and we discuss our budget/investment plan as we call it, my wife talks a lot about energy, which we'll talk about now. We're very realistic about that, and we go out there, we have fun, we have a lunch, we'll have a glass of wine at times as well and discuss where we can save some money, where we can invest as well.
So I don't like to see it as money. I see it as our energy. So if you want something lavish or you want to spend money on something you really wanted, you've got to understand that that's going to be energy that you're taking away from potentially saving, spending time as a family. If you need to work overtime, need to work that extra job, it's energy that you are putting towards something. So we don't say not buy nice things or spend a lot of money. If those are things that really give you joy, do that. But take into consideration where that's taking from elsewhere. And make sure that you're prioritizing investing and building your wealth in the things that will give back as well.
So a lot of people that coach around money and tell you that saving all your money is so important, you should live this and not do the things you enjoy. I think you should do them, but maybe be a little bit more moderate in those things you want to do. I've always been very fortunate to live a great lifestyle, as my wife and us as a family, and that's something that I'm never going to stop because I'm only here once. But the one golden rule that I've learned from books that I've read, such as Rich Man in Babylon, Think and Grow Rich, many mentors have taught me and instilled in me as a young person, invest your money first and ensure that you pay yourself first. So part of our money, my income, my wife's income, and our combined income, I make sure to take that, and we can't even see it. I invested in investments that I like. My wife does the same to ensure that our money is growing. But more importantly, that we teach our kids these exact same principles. And I've always loved the saying, if you give a man a fish, you teach him to eat for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he can eat for the rest of his life. So what we want to show our kids is not only the importance of saving, because saving doesn't get you anywhere unless you invest, but also what to do with that money. And all of our kids, we've got 4 of them, have their own investment portfolios as well.
Yeah, I think that's crucial. What you're saying there is it's not just about putting money aside in the bank account and seeing that savings account grow, because that's such a slow way to actually build your wealth. It's then the next step of what are you going to do with that money? How can you make that grow exponentially? So yeah, if you monitor where you're spending your money and you're growing your savings, that's great. But then next step is what are you going to do with that money to actually grow an investment plan? So that's what we're always talking about amongst ourselves, with our kids. Where can we put that money to really make the most growth out of it?
And like my son's about to turn 19 now, he comes to my office and I try to educate him on money, why people make money, why they keep money. Because I always say money, there's 2 skill sets about making money. 2 skills around making money. Number 1, is making money. Number two is keeping the money, maintaining it, and growing it. That's a second skill set altogether. It's a lot harder than just making money. So with our kids, we want to arm them with that knowledge where they can make money. And if I look at my wife started investing when she was 16, if you were to just put your money in the bank, your money's going backwards when you consider inflation and things like that. When you're using a leverage product, like as my wife, I think she bought her first commercial
I started with shares,
which went into a commercial real estate,
Yeah.
but that was at 16. So her family, her uncle, instilled the right mindset in her to make sure that she can invest like I was as a young kid as well, which really made a difference to, I guess, our future mindset.
It did. Grow that foundation first before you start spending your money on all the other things that you want, like a car, all the things that kids, you know, as you get older into your adult years, you want to spend your money on. But if you've grown that foundation first, to have some wealth, to have some properties, you're really in a much more flexible position to do what you want with your life and grow your lifestyle as well alongside it. So it can't be one or the other necessarily, because like Chris said, you're only here once. You got to enjoy your life. But why not have the two balance each other out? Whereas people get so much into debt and they're worrying about having all the nice things and growing their lifestyle, but they're not building that wealth behind them. It's really important that you do both at the same time and make sure that you are favouring the investment so that you can live the life that you want.
So in summary, if you like the nice things, the nice watches, the nice cars, the nice houses, the nice travel, make sure you invest your money so you've got your income producing assets producing cash flow to pay for these luxuries. Not living outside your means, because a lot of times, and I wrote a lot about this in my book, Your Path to Wealth Brick by Brick, people have an increase in their pay from 100 to 150, and all they do is they give themselves a lifestyle increase. They don't pay themselves first. So making more money doesn't necessarily make you wealthier because you're not investing. But if you can apply the simple principles, no matter how modest your income is or how big your income is, if you pay yourself first, you will always become wealthy if you put that money in income producing assets like real estate as an example, case in point. So that's probably the most important thing. And I think we're very different with a lot of couples.
I think that's something that people really are confused with, that they think, oh, when I get that pay rise, when I earn more money, I will have more. But it really, from the clients that we've seen, it really makes no difference on what income percentage you're on, because people adjust their lifestyle and spend more. We've got couples that earn $400,000 combined income, but their credit card's $80,000 in debt. So it really depends on how you're managing your money and where you are putting it, because having a bigger income doesn't necessarily mean you're creating more wealth.
And more importantly, as I said at the start as well, your income is not a reflection of your wealth, what you do with that money. So earning money is one skill set, but growing that money and propelling your wealth is a totally different skill set altogether. And it's why a lot of people win the lotto and are broke. Why a lot of sports people make hundreds of millions and are broke, because they don't have the financial literacy or education to really grow and build their wealth. But as I'm always an advocate of, having a great lifestyle, but there's only one golden rule. First, second, third rule, refer to rule one, make sure you invest first. And it's something that I guess has been in our life forever, but also that we want to instill in our kids and our clients for that matter as well. What I was saying before, we're not like other couples where we're saying save every dollar, don't live the life you want, die at 80 unhappy and give all your money to your kids. No, live a great life, give your kids the education they need to really build their wealth and to build their legacy. It's what I do with myself, with our family, but also with our clients. And it all starts with education. And as we said at the start, it starts with being honest with each other, with your spending. Having blowout months, we're no different to everybody else. We're by far perfect. We have blowout months like everybody else does. But the $1 million question is, what are you going to do the month after, the quarter after? How are you going to counteract that blowout month? Which I was about to ask you that question. Now, what are we going to do next quarter?
Not go out to dinner.
Although we're joking about it, these are very serious conversations. And finance doesn't have to be boring and morbid like a lot of people make it. We have fun with our finances. We have fun with these discussions. If we have a blow month, that might mean you might have to have a little bit more wine or whatever the case may be. But on a serious point, you might have to say, I'll have to go to a few less restaurants. I have to buy a few less things the next month. Or another great way to do it, which a lot of people don't do this, is they plan for December. They plan for their holidays ahead. Because if you're going on a $12,000 holiday, saving $1,000 a month is a lot easier than spending that money than spending the 12 and trying to catch up. A lot of people do that with their retirement. They wait for their run way too long. They wait for 55 or 60 to start investing, to start saving. You should have maybe considered that a little bit sooner. which is why we're prompting everyone to ask yourself those questions now. We wanted to turn the ugly word of budgeting/investing plan into something nice and fun. It doesn't have to be, as I mentioned before, boring or morbid. It can be something we can discuss. I encourage money conversations with our family all the time. A lot of people don't talk about money, about investing. I encourage that discussion in our house. We talk about it a lot as well, but it doesn't mean that, and Billy mentioned it before, she spent more one month or I did. It doesn't really matter. It's all one pool. So there's months that she outspends me, which might be a majority of the time, but as a team, we're together. I outspend as well. Collectively, what you do when you do spend money, it means it's going to slow you down a little bit here. We're very comfortable with that concept, and we understand that
it really comes down to understanding where your money's going. So our investment plans, so to speak, are very detailed. It's not just categories of food and bills. We're actually very detailed, so we know exactly where our money is going. So I thought originally we were having these meetings in the office. They were a little bit laborious. They were just looking at the tables, and it just sucked any fun out of it, because really we're talking about our investment, our future, what we want to do, how we're going. And I thought, let's just make it a little bit more interesting. Let's do it over lunch. We can have a look at the tables together. We can talk about areas of improvement. It was more a way of making sure it was happening by keeping it lighthearted. Because if it became this thing we did every month that we were both dreading, then it probably wouldn't get done. So if we made it over lunch, it was definitely getting done. We were both seeing the points that we could improve on, where we could put more money towards, where we're potentially falling back on, and we could address those in a comfortable and safe place together.
And it doesn't have to be lunch. Now, you might want to go to a park. You don't have to go spend a lot of money on lunch or go have a glass of wine. You can have a coffee and do it. The point is to do it in a very open manner. And it's not you, me. It's about collectively as a team. And I don't think we've ever said that you've done this or I've done that, because ultimately it's our combined goal. Now, she has her own goals, I have my own goals as well. When it comes to our finances or our future, when it comes to your mortgage, if you're a couple, I think that's a collective goal.
Yeah.
So, and everyone's different. So there's no one shoe fits all with any of this stuff. But one thing that's important, knowing your numbers is vital, and being honest with your communication. And bearing in mind, sometimes your partner will stuff up, sometimes you will. That's fine, that's okay. What are you going to do about it next?
I think also knowing at the start of the year, what do we hope to achieve financially? So if you can sit down and think about, I know a lot of people have these grand, big commitments at the start of the year that dwindle off after month 2, month 3, even halfway through month 1. I think it's important to say, this is what we hope to achieve. This is where we want to put those goals, and this is how we're going to monitor them monthly. So if you can be doing those checkups, you're going to have a greater chance of success of achieving them.
It's about awareness.
You mentioned tough times and things when things don't quite go to plan. I mean, I'm sure you're both quite successful now, but getting here, there would have been months that weren't just blowout months, that things went horribly wrong. I mean, I know, Chris, you kind of lost everything in your mid-20s. I think you were together at that time. Yep. How did you guys go around dealing with the tough times financially?
So I've had quite a few in my life and my career. And my wife's been beside me for almost 20 years now, so she's seen, I think, almost all of them.
Yep.
If not all of them.
Yep.
I'd say most of them. I just saw it as an opportunity to learn. The harder the lesson is, sometimes you don't see it at the time. That prepared me to run a bigger business now. It prepared me to be better with my family now, with my finances now. It's never ever a bad thing. Sometimes the lesson, you'll see that lesson in 6, 12, 24 months. Sometimes you feel there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So when I was 24 and lost it all, I had to move back in with my parents. I felt like it was a lot worse than what it actually was. But working through it and building resilience, now when COVID came through, I was a lot more prepared. When the GFC came through, I was a lot more prepared. Being in real estate for 23 years, I've seen ups and downs. Being in business for 17 years now in March, I've seen many ups and downs. We've experienced a lot of ups and downs financially, in business, because business is never all smooth sailing. People see the success, people see the awards, and they go, wow, but they don't see the struggles in every part of waking up in the morning, going to work, in how am I going to pay this bill, how am I going to employ this person. Now we've got our team's over 70, 75 now. It wasn't always, as you said, we've been an overnight success. It took me 17 years for us to get here. So how did we deal with them? We stayed resilient, and we made sure to roll up our sleeves and the good old-fashioned way, do the hard work. No one's going to do it for you.
I think, look, you're going to have tough times. You've got to be prepared for them. And I think a lot of the times we're not prepared for them. And that's when you see the most growth. That's when you say, you know what, I'm not going to take this just lying down. I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep. The amount of budget tables Chris was doing back in some of the struggling times were daily. We do them now once a month, but sometimes it was okay, daily. Let's see what's coming in, what's coming out. How can we prepare for this? So it was challenging. It was tough, but you can either say I give up or you can say I'm going to continue. And like Chris said, it was building resilience. It was really making him and us more prepared for tough times ahead. So I think you just don't give up. You keep going. That's the main thing. Be prepared, know yourself, find that inner strength and keep going.
I laughed because she said I still do them daily. I was actually just working on a table before. I'm going to work on one when I'm done. But it's, you don't quit, you just say let's go. And diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. So for me, nothing gives me more satisfaction than putting my back to the wall and seeing people think this guy's not going to get out of this or they're not going to get out of this. That's when you're going to see the most growth. And you see great entrepreneurs, great business people that go through the hardest struggles become a great version of themselves. And nothing great was built from a comfort zone. So for me, I've been fortunate to have a lot of setbacks in my career, in our life, in our financial circumstances. That's why we're sitting here today. And that's why we're going to be sitting in a much better position in 5 to 10 years. And I hope my kids understand all that as well, because sometimes as the generations go on, they don't see the struggles. All you want is your kids to be a better version and an improved 2.0 version of Chris and Billy. Nothing would make me happier anyway. And I think that's a really good way to look at it.
I think it's about making them independent with their decisions. So you're not going to tell your kid what to do. You're going to see how they come to that conclusion themselves. And that way you can kind of identify where you need to help them and steer them in. So little things like pocket money. What do you want to do with your $50 a week or whatever it is that you're giving your child? Do you want to put some into savings? Are you going to put some into spending? How are you going to identify how you want to split that money? And then make them understand consciously that if they spend it all, they won't have money in their savings. Where does savings go? How does that grow? So like Chris said, we've got investment plans and portfolios for the children. And we show them the growth in those and they get excited about that. It can still, for the younger kids, seem like something totally in the distant future or made up money. But as they get older, they can see that their wealth is actually growing and they want to contribute to that and they want to see ways that they can get money to put it towards that. So it's about financial education. It's about making them understand that you've got to work hard, and the harder you work for your money, the more you've got to invest and let it grow. But yeah, it's making them aware.
And a key aspect to that, and they've done studies on this, is delayed gratification. If you were to say to your kid, I'll give you $50 this week or $100 in a month, what will you take? And the kids that take $100 in a month that understand the term delayed gratification and investing comes first and paying yourself first, usually set themselves up better financially and have a much better mindset. So it's by understanding these lessons and passing them on to your kids. Now, being a kid, a lot of kids might take the $50 now, but understanding that by waiting and invest that money, that compounds into something better, it's giving that education to understand, which is what I'm trying my best to instill in our kids, and that we try to teach ourselves every day, because you never stop learning about money, you never stop learning about investing. And I think the biggest advantage that I carry in my business, through helping over 3,200 clients, through being in real estate for almost 25 years, is I'm always a student of the game. I want to learn more and more every day. I want to learn about new investment opportunities. I want to keep improving my mindset so I can pass the knowledge on to my clients, to ourselves and our kids. And I think that's the biggest thing we can teach our kids, to be open-minded and to be curious.
I'm sure the two of you disagree on some things, some things that are important to spend money on. You probably have different ideas of what's essential versus discretionary spending. Do you have any examples of that? Has that ever caused any friction?
How long has this tape got?
You've got another hour to go.
I laugh because, yeah, we do, but look, to say we've grown everything is never going to be the case. But like Billy said at the start, we have our combined goals. The last thing I want is to control her, or the last thing she wants to do is to control me. So we also have our own discretionary spending that you can do whatever you want with that as well. Now that might be X percentage of what we earn. That's up to us, but to say that you're going to agree on everything that your partner spends, I think it's maybe impossible.
I think you need to understand that every individual's different. So you're going to have things that you want to obtain or that you find are passionate about that your partner doesn't see the value or interest in them. But I think if you understand that, yes, we are different, we've got different ideas of what it is that we want, and you need to understand this is something important to me, this is something that will make me happy, and does it fit within our budget or investment plan, or how do we see that this can be managed into it? You got to understand each other and appreciate that. Everyone's different.
And there's going to be cases where in couples, one works, one earns more, one earns less. It doesn't really make a difference. If you're working together collectively as a unit, the decision should be made together. What we have as a family to spend, it's equal. What we have as discretionary spending is equal. And I advise that always should be the case, because when one person buys or spends more on discretionary spending, it means it's going to hold you back A, B, C, or D in your investment column. And we don't always agree, but I don't think it's ever caused much friction or whatever. What do you think?
No, I think that, we both understand, while I might like some high ticket items that might seem like a waste of money, Chris might like some other things that I might think are excessive too. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. This is what is within my balance sheet that I can afford and that I find important to me, and that's what is important to you, then that's fine at the end of the day.
It's what you can do collectively, and it's what you put towards your investment plan. And as we said, you're going to have blowout months. Be realistic with what you're spending. And a lot of people argue about certain things that they spend it on. End of the day, you're only here once. Enjoy yourself. I'm going to go back to the golden rule. Make sure you invest your money. Doesn't matter if you buy nice things. Make sure you have investments that cash flow those nice things. Income producing assets is the key in paying yourself first. If you want to buy more nice luxury items, make sure you invest more first. So what I recommend to people out there is start with a small percentage of your income, 5% of your net income, and then try to increase that gradually. Now we look at our tables constantly, and I'm trying to increase that amount. As I earn more money, as Billy earns more money, I take that away, we take that away, we put it somewhere where you can't even see it, and we invest that money. It's not even available to us. So the more you earn, just build your tolerance, build your investment, strength up. Start with 5%, go to 10, 15, 20, and keep increasing it. And of course, you've got to look at your liabilities, your taxes, your mortgage. They're your non-negotiables that you have to pay. Of course, you can minimize your tax by buying real estate and good investment opportunities. But with your net disposable income, what's left after you've paid your taxes and your bills, start with a small percentage and keep building that away. And that will buy you all the luxuries that you need. It's all about compounding your wealth. It's about starting small and compounding that.
Is there like a goal you have in mind, or a certain financial position that you'll eventually get to where you can decide, I can relax, you don't need to worry about reinvesting in yourself, or just a never-ending process until you die? Like, how do you approach that?
I think everyone's goals are different.
Yeah.
So what you see as saying, I'm comfortable now, will be different to someone else. Financial freedom at the end of the day is the liberty of being able to do what you want to do with your time and having the financial backing to be able to do that. I think with us, investing isn't necessarily just for financial gains. I think investing is what it brings back in terms of reward, in terms of seeing that you're leaving a legacy behind. So there's all other things, being able to give back, definitely. So there's all other things that you get from being able to build your investment portfolio. I guess there's never cap that we've set for ourselves, but for other people, it's all based on what they feel comfortable with and when they feel sufficient with what they've achieved.
An average Australian might need 1.2 million in retirement, 2.4 for a couple, depending on your lifestyle. The day that I feel that I'll stop investing is the day that I expire. It's never about what we need. I feel that we've done sufficient for what we need. But for me, it's about earning more money, because for me, wealth is important, and I make no secret about that. I want to earn more. I want to give more back to the community, because I think it's very, very important. But it also, you acquire new skill sets which you can pass on to your kids, to your clients, and things like that. So there's never a wrong or a right answer to that. I want to keep increasing my knowledge, my lifestyle, what I give back to the community. So for me, when will I stop? Is the day I draw my last breath when it comes to investing, when it comes to learning, when it comes to passing on. Other people might, I want to make $5 million and retire, end up on a beach somewhere. You couldn't think of a worse scenario for me. Like, as much as my wife says I will retire when I guess I die, I love what I do, which I'm fortunate. So
It's all based on what's important to you. I think that's at the end of the day. So there's never a cut-off for anyone. It's what makes them feel happy that they've achieved and that they have what they consider financial freedom for them. That's really what it comes down to.
So in summary, there's no wrong or right, really.
No.
It depends. And I guess the best way to approach it. There's statistically what you need as an Australian family to retire. You might want to travel a little bit more. You might want to have a better lifestyle. There's no wrong or right. What we suggest is be realistic with your numbers, know your numbers, do your budget table, your investment plan as we call it, and see what that figure is. But if that figure changes and increases, which it quite likely will, ours has, mine always will, for as long as I'm here, that's okay as well. I know a lot of friends that have sold businesses for lots of money and retired, and they're very, very happy. And other people that don't work that much, but they're happy. For me, I'm in a very, very happy scenario, and there's no wrong or right.
I think be realistic. When you retire, your expenses aren't going to go backwards. You're not going to be probably sitting in front of the TV all day and not spending $1. You'll want to go out. You'll want to go enjoy your time with your friends, and these things cost money. So be realistic of what retirement would look like for you and how you'll be able to fund that. And then you can get a better idea of what you need to have obtained in your working life to form those assets that are going to produce that income for you to be able to live comfortably.
Without working. So basically, in summary, instead of working 38 hours or 60 hours, you need to make sure you work because you're saving more money. So it's part of our investment strategy is to work many hours.
Yeah, because you spend less money.
That's actually really funny. Money investment tips?
No, look, we hope that you've gotten some valid little nuggets from our discussion here talking about finances and investment strategies, and that you can take some home and have open, honest discussions with your partner about how you can build your wealth, whether it's on your own or in a team scenario. Really look at your numbers and understand them better.
And for me, look at talking about finances. I'm obsessed and I can do it all day. It doesn't have to be boring. It's got to be collective and it's got to be enjoyable. And if you're someone like me that loves charts and your left brain, make it fun. Use someone that's a right brain, more creative, and go in and do an investment plan. Have a lunch, have a glass of wine, go to a park. It doesn't have to be boring, but most importantly, know your numbers and have fun and live it up. Golden rule: just invest your money. And yeah, we're going to go talk about investment plan when we're done here.